Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
Happy New Year, Harvey. First show, first work week in 2022, Harv. What do you think?
I think it's off and running, Harry, and it's as if nothing has ever stopped. The new year just means, we're definitely diving into winter here, and we're excited to bring on Lisa Niederlander. Good morning, Lisa, from Max Brook.
Hi, guys. Good
Hi,
morning.
Lisa. How are you?
Good. How are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Lots of transactions back in 2021, like it was so long ago in 2021,
Last
right?
week, right?
Yeah, a lot of transactions.
Okay, yes, a lot. I mean, I will say that in terms of my volume and my numbers, I do not exaggerate when I say I quadrupled them. Now, that's also because I'm an awesome agent, but...
Oh, there you go.
We'll get into those reasons why you're an awesome agent today. You know,
She comes right out of the bullpen throwing 105, Harvey.
well, that's fantastic.
Fastballs. Unbelievable.
You can find Lisa at Max Brook Realty in downtown Birmingham. Of course, she works all the counties in Michigan. And also, if you want to buy a place in New York, we'll talk about your history, of course. You grew up in the rat race of real estate. When you're in Manhattan and you're down in that area, you really learn how to do things. Either really the great way and hard work always prevails.
Yes, absolutely. Just a bit about my history. I was very lucky to train at the Corcoran Group. If you watch Shark Tank, Barbara Corcoran started that company, and she was still running it when I started back in 2002. And I was trained by the best of the best, 12 years there. And I brought all that back with me to Michigan. And so grateful for that and thrilled to be bringing it here and working with everyone in my hometown.
Well, there really is a difference working with somebody that's very experienced, isn't there? Especially in a market like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are a lot of nuances to buying and selling a home that people don't realize. I mean, maybe you buy and sell a home 4 times in your life, but, you know, and you can be the brightest guy in the world, you know, or the savviest girl on the block. But when it comes to doing this, you definitely need someone who can help you navigate it.
Well, we want to know where the 2022 is going to go. We're excited about the market. It seems as if home purchases are already really jamming. I know I've got 3 or 4 appointments already set up for next week. Multiple bids. I've had a couple clients even this first week already tell me they missed out on one, and then we got to work on that strategy and making sure that they get their offer accepted. But today's market, because of the low inventory, you really have to be prepared.
You do. You do. I mean, in 2022, to kind of address that part of your question, we don't expect many changes. In fact, we think inventory might even be less because there was that pent-up properties that were not, able to come out during COVID early on. And we worked through a lot of those this year. But now it's going to be even less because we've got people who don't know where to go yet. But the beautiful thing about that, which is a good thing, is that Michigan really should have a great, strong market with a lot of demand. And we had many, many years that didn't have that. So we should all, instead of worry about it, kind of be grateful for it.
Yeah, we believe that same thing. We believe that the inventory levels are going to stay the same as they are now. Of course, in Michigan, when the sun starts shining and the weather starts getting a little better, there'll be more houses. People are going to be more willing. The school year is going to start to come to an end. People are going to want to buy in the warmer weather. That's traditionally what happens in Michigan. Here's the however. The however is, we talk about it all the time, it's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. If you have a lot of buyers out there right now, there are a lot of buyers out there and less inventory out there, right? Supply and demand. So, Lisa, just what's that do to home prices and what's that do to multiple offers?
Okay, so, obviously, it's going to be really good for the seller. With that said, you can drive up the price of your home, but if you go on the market overpriced, homes are still sitting. So you really want to be clever about doing that. And in terms of there being, lack of inventory, it also means that people are really looking year round now. So that idea that people are waiting for the spring, if you've got a house and you need to sell it or want to sell it, I would not hesitate.
Well, that is true. That is true. And Harvey and Lisa, that's a true statement. People are still out there looking for homes. The same buyers that, were shut out of homes in the fall are, they're serious. So people that are serious right now looking for homes are running into serious sellers that are selling homes.
Yes.
You don't put your house on the market in 15-degree weather unless you're serious. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
Why would you want somebody traipsing through your house, in 15-degree weather and cold and everything like that unless you're serious. By the same token, as Lisa said, you can't go out there, Lisa, and put an exorbitant price on your house because you might not get the action. So, you know what? There is an art to it. It's not a science. What you do is an art.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We said that about you actually in your promo. The art of real estate.
Yeah.
Yes, because I agree with you completely. It is an art, and that is, I've been in the business now over 20 years, and it is every deal, there's nuance. And with nuance, there's creativity, there's thinking out of the box. It's definitely an art.
Harvey, everything, right? Every transaction's got something on it. Like
There's always something a little funky. Always
Isn't there
something going
that you're
on.
walking in my office going, boss, I don't know what's going on with this one.
Yes.
I go, it's, the longer you've been in the business, the more you think you know or you've seen everything wrong. Surprise party.
100%.
There's a surprise party at the end. It doesn't have to be, but there is.
Well, let's
Right.
talk about this a little bit. I had a couple of clients that had called me this week, and they missed out on the house, and whether they're working with these new agents, some of them are real strong. Some of them need a little bit more guidance in what their strategy and plan is going to be to get the offer accepted. But there's no time to wait. You can't look at a house on the market if there's already multiple offers and your agent's already hopefully reached out to that listing agent, and that's the feedback. So you've got to come in ready to go, strong approval letters, and probably be in a position to close in 30 days, even though you might not be able to occupy for 60 or maybe even 60 days after the closing.
It can be that. And, I always tell people when they call me that thank you for me being your first call, but the first thing you need to do is speak to your lender. Because people think they know what they can afford because they know what they want to carry, but it isn't about what you want to carry. It's, as you know, about what the person who's going to lend you the money wants you to carry. And that is the absolute key number one thing is know your money, be prepared. You may have things on your credit report that need to be cleaned up. Your lender helps you with that. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes before you should even start walking into houses, because I promise you, once you start walking in and you're not prepared, you're going to miss it if you like it.
Well, speaking of preparation, Harvey, Lisa walked in here, everybody. Can you see this on Facebook Live? Everybody see this?
She's prepared.
You
She
see
brought
this
us a
there?
sheet.
You talk about prepared, okay? She is always prepared. In the transactions that we've had with Lisa over the years, there's never been anything that's left up to chance because she is always prepared. It's always wrapped really tight. Her clients love her, and that's because she never lets them down. But when you walk in and you're prepared, like we talk about all the time, never go into a meeting without having something written down. Never go into a meeting without knowing what you're talking about. This is it. So if she does this coming in here, you know what she does for her clients, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know she's staying up late because I've got the text. Trust me when I tell you.
Let me throw this out there. 248-539-9797. We give you 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Of course, we talk all real estate and mortgages, anything else going on. If you want to buy a second home, we can help you with that. Lots of changes in the mortgage industry already hit in place for 2022. But some of the things that happened during the pandemic have been the appraisal waivers, the escalation clauses. Lisa, we've read some crazy stuff over the last 2 years, and we need to protect both sides of the transaction. These escalation clauses truly need to be in the Queen's English and really spelled out.
100%, 100%. And the thing is we're not attorneys. We're agents. We do contracts. We do all those good things. And really, we can do them without being attorneys because they're forms. But with that said, you want to make sure your language is tight. If you're not comfortable with something, have an attorney check it. We always recommend that. And, you do want to protect both sides of the deal, but you have to be careful because what I find is people who have lost out on houses, that's when they start getting smart about what to waive. And one of the main things that you want to realize is that, because we were in the recession for so long, we think we as buyers have a lot of say in the deal, but really it has completely flipped. So go in with the open mind that you are prepared, you can get your loan, you can promise that, and when we come back, I have a great way to tell you how to get the deal.
All right, some secrets here on the show. The Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 23rd year. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Of course, you can catch us at Capital all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Over 30 years here locally in Michigan. Harry, I'm licensed in Florida. I spend a lot of time down there. I'm an expert down there in most of the areas. Spent my life a lot of time in Florida and in Michigan.
You have.
So that's where my expertise, and I think you need to find expertise, Lisa, really in your own backyard, as we have so many agents out there now. And how do we, sort of figure out who's who in today's marketplace? They should ask tougher questions. Your experience, what knowledge do you bring to the table?
Well, that's a really good point, because a lot of people, they use their agent. They choose an agent because they feel they have to use that agent. Oh, it's my sister-in-law. It's going to be a huge family row, or it's my best friend's brother, or whatever it is, right? Now, when you're buying a house, a $200,000 house, a $2 million house, it's all relative, right, to your net worth. So I'm going to ask you, would you take that money and give it to a financial advisor because you feel guilty not using them? No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Exactly. So you definitely want to interview your agent, see how long they've been in the market. If it's someone new, do you have backup? Who are you going to for support? What do you know about helping me with the mortgage? How many deals have you done? What problems have you run into? I would start with those kind of questions.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of backlash on that, Harvey, because we tout experience too, and people say, well, how do you gain experience if you can't start out? Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. No experience. I remember when I started in this business going on 33 years ago. All right, there was no experienced realtor that was going to go ahead and give the new guy a shot. I had to go out on the street. This was the days we walked in the real estate office,
right.
Rate sheets, and every mortgage person out there's been on rate sheets, donuts, and bagels every.
the property at. Because if you want to come back later, there is no later. So instead of going, oh, I don't want to do that, that makes me uncomfortable, think about, will you regret that later?
Right.
And if you will, then...
Well, break that down, Lisa. When you say an appraisal waiver, people out there are thinking, well, what do you mean they don't have to do an appraisal? No, a lender's going to do an appraisal unless, obviously, we get an appraisal waiver, which is not guaranteed, contrary to popular belief out there, Harvey Freed.
Not on purchases here.
Okay,
Maybe
not.
on some
Okay,
rate and term refis.
So stop with that
Yeah.
deal. All right, an appraisal waiver means that you're going to go ahead and you're going to put in a purchase agreement in the language, and you're going to say, you know what, whatever the appraisal comes in at, I'm going to go through with the transaction.
That's right.
Okay, now explain a cap. All right, that's different. A cap is when you put in the offer, you're going to say, and let's just say we'll use a round number $300,000 on an offer. Okay. If it doesn't come in, you're going to say, you know what, I'll go up to what?
You might say, I'll go up to 10,000 over. So if the appraisal comes in at 290,
right,
you're going to cover, the buyer's going to come to the table with that $10,000.
Right. So you're giving the buffer at, if it's a $300,000 purchase price and the appraisal comes in at 290, you're still going to go ahead and move forward with the transaction, understanding that there's a $10,000 gap between what you offered and what the actual appraisal comes in at. And that's good. And what those things are, the appraisal waiver and the appraisal cap, they're non-confrontational in an offer, because what you're doing is you don't want to alienate a seller, but you want to let them know that you're flexible enough to go ahead and kind of move and groove with the market right now.
Lisa,
Yes.
even sometimes you'll see a house. Let's use that $300,000. So our clients will bid at $315,000. We know it's a $300,000 value, but the kitchen and the bathrooms were redone. We know our buyer doesn't have to come out of pocket and redo all these things. Now, that's why that professional realtor, having the professional team go over all the details with you. So if they do have to come out of pocket, that extra 10 or 15, boy, oh boy, that's nothing compared to redoing a kitchen
100%.
in today's marketplace. So you need to know that type of information going in.
But Harvey, you know what's best about this with Lisa? Okay. And all these contingencies, they're all up front. It's all disclosed to everybody in the transaction. There's no hidden ball tricks. You're not wondering, we're eliminating that part of the surprise party at the end.
100%. And also, if you're going to do that, that could affect your down payment and your loan to value ratio. So you also want to be talking to your lender.
Oh, now we're getting mortgage geeky on her.
Yeah,
Harvey. We're getting that mortgage weirdness.
And the thing is that's when you really need a team. And the agent, the realtor, is the person who tends to bring that team together and oversee it. I was on a call yesterday. I have a buyer. We were on with both title companies, the lender, and me. And I knew what he needed because I know him he knows me the most. I know him the most. And I'm kind of refereeing that. And that's what we do in all these situations, in all the negotiations, inspections, and everything. And speaking of inspections, there are things you can do around that. Now, some people, they feel confident. They're happy even if, there's mold in the attic,
Lisa.
Evil word. They
don't want
waive
that.
inspection.
Oh, no.
They
So,
waive
Lisa,
inspection.
You can't, honestly, here, let's just talk. It's just the three of us. Nobody's listening. The three of
No
us,
people
right?
are listening.
You ready? Three of us.
Yeah.
You never waive an inspection. You never, ever. You
people
can't. We
do it.
can't waive an inspection.
Well, we've been doing the pass fails, of course, over the last 2
Now,
years.
let's
2 or
talk
3
about a
years
pass
now.
fail. That's different.
I was just going to
That's
say
different.
you can do a pass fail, but I will tell you, even in this market, and I never suggest to do that, but I do offer it. If a client is serious, it is up to them. I have some clients who are very handy, who say, I have a whole team of people, I'm not worried about it, particularly
You better
investors.
make them sign waivers, this, disclosure, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%.
Well, you just nailed it. You have investors are a little bit different buyers
That's
than
different.
the other
That's
guy.
different.
They
who's-
are.
Look, it'll take an attorney, for example, or a doctor, or someone we
Yeah.
might know in our family. Maybe they're not as handy as the other guy. They don't even have time for it. So that's a little bit different situation.
different
But they might have
situation.
money to make up that problem. Or the other side is someone who can go in a house and really fix it all up. They walk in, they say, I need the bones. If it's got a good structure, I can see
100%.
I'm good.
I'm taking everything out. Remediating mold is not necessarily an evil. It's not a fortune. A lot of homes in Michigan, there's
They have
mold.
it.
a lot of home. Don't get scared of things just because something comes up in your inspection.
Harry, more than we think there's problems in Michigan. We have the 4 seasons here. The weather's constantly changing. It's below zero outside or something right now. Then there's moisture in the air. And then, of course, we have the summer and the humidity. So, yeah, when you're coughing and sneezing, you can't figure it out. And you're going to your allergist and you can't get rid of that sniffle. There might be something behind the walls,
People
and we
live
don't
with
know.
it for years, and they don't
Right.
know, and they never check it out.
Exactly.
Right? So just think about, what's going to scare you off. And the pass-fail inspection, as you say, is a great idea.
Pass-fail. I love the pass-fail. I just can't. And we're not talking about Joe the handyman. And, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about, by and large, Mary and Bill out there, or Joe homeowner that wants to buy a house, they should get an inspection. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it forever. I've done it for 30 years. I'm going to do it for another 30 years. Get an inspection. Then it's up to you whether you want to go forward with the transaction. Mm-hmm. That's
Well,
it.
that's right.
That's
Once
it.
you sign, and buyers and sellers actually really need to realize this. And each section of the transaction, I walk people through it, hold their hand, because even if I explain it in the beginning, we go over it again. And the main thing about when you're in contract is the only person who can walk during the contingency periods is the buyer. If you're a seller, you are bound. The only thing you can do is take a backup offer. So that's really key. Mm-hmm. And in this market, a lot of sellers don't really realize that as well. So you want to keep that in mind.
Excellent point.
The other thing you can do, a really good one, is
You know, we're going to come up to a break, but we definitely have Raul calling. Raul, stay on the line. We've got questions to go over: refinancing to remodel house, cash out refinancings, a whole lot more. We're just getting started here. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
and no financing.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Again, we're powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We offer every mortgage, the best jumbo loans anywhere in the country. Just
licensed in 50 states. Harvey. I think they're only 50 states, right?
That's
50.
it. Just
Only
50.
50. We're licensed only in 50 states.
Fantastic. You can give us a call, 1-800-LOW-RATE, or give us a call here on the radio station. We'll get you set up. Of course, Lisa Niederlander, Maxbrook Realty joins us. Lisa with tons of information. We'll take this call, Lisa, and then dive right back into real estate. We got Raul called in on sort of a refi question. Go ahead with your call, sir.
So, good morning, guys. Thanks
Good morning.
for taking my call.
Thank you.
I have a home in Macomb Township that I no longer live in it. My daughter does, and family. The home is in my name. The mortgage is in my name, and we're looking to refinance it. It's complicated because I have retired since I moved out of the home. I can show enough income to be responsible for the mortgage, but there's so my daughter and husband and the kids live there, and my other daughter has a boat that is also part of the mortgage.
Well, not really.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, but I think the best
we
thing.
could pull that off of it easily.
Well, let's take a look at it. I think the best thing that we can do is give you a call after the show, talk about it, get the profile of what the transaction looks like, who's on the title. There are a lot of moving parts in this transaction. You don't live in the house, but you don't necessarily have to live in the house to be on the transaction. We'll get their information too, because maybe they can go on the transaction with you. So, take a little heat off of you, but we have to call you and check that out. It sounds like a good idea. It sounds like you're a pretty good dad too.
Well,
You got to do what you got to do for your kids, right?
that's right. That's right.
Raul, maybe
How I feel.
Raul, maybe we can put your daughter, again, I don't know who's entitled to the house. Maybe your daughter, if she's going to keep the house as her primary residence, you said you get some grandkids over there, potentially we can give you the road, the map to get you where we can put people's names on title. And like Harry said, we can do maybe this cash out refinance and you can fix up the house. That's what the route you want to go, correct?
That's the goal. Yes.
All right, we get you. I'm going to call you after the show here
Yeah,
and
we
give you some good
appreciate your call.
information. It's great stuff out there, and we like to help all families with that. Lisa, again, a lot of times families like, hey, I just want to go. I don't live in the house anymore. Becomes an issue in the mortgage world, but we can put a family member on there, Harry.
Yes.
And again, after 6 months, typically do a cash out refinance. Call us for the answers. There's nothing that gets in the way of having these professional people. I mean, you got to have the professional advice that you can really prepare. And if you wait too long, that's what we mentioned earlier, Lisa. A lot of times they'll call you first.
Yes.
And you're like, look, you got to have the strong approval letter. I need to go in with an offer knowing that you're going to be able to close in 30 days.
Yep.
So my next question becomes where are all the sellers going? Are they moving away or where are all our sellers going?
It's interesting because people are moving away. I think Michigan's maybe number 5 of people actually leaving, which says something about our inventory level being so low simultaneously. But a lot of people are moving to warmer climates. They're working from home, that kind of thing. They're moving to their house up north. They're doing all sorts of stuff. But a lot of people are also looking for a house.
You can
to
accept
sell.
an offer to sell your house contingent upon you finding another one. And I've always used that over the last couple of years. We find that to be a really good strategy.
It's a really good strategy if the seller's willing to do it.
Okay. Everyone's got a different motivation.
Yeah, but why right now? Here comes Bad Harry. Bad Harry's coming out. Why would a seller take a contingency now when the market's so hot, Lisa?
They won't.
Thank you.
What if
Next.
what if
Harvey,
their new
next.
construction's not going to be done, though? And we do get that. Their new construction home, they might have signed an agreement. They're moving out of, let's say, Oakland County. They're going to head a little bit west. New construction won't be done quite yet. Maybe they'll accept that offer, maybe in continue.
I know of one right now. I just one.
Oh, could have.
That's it, just one. But the sellers, they know the buyer and seller know each other. It's a closely held transaction, but they're in the marketplace right now. A seller can put their home on the market, and if it's a nice property, it's in good shape, it's going to get looked at. You're going to have 5-6 showings on the first day. Isn't that what's going on still?
Yeah. So anytime a house goes on the market, I liken it to a new restaurant in town.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Everybody's jumping in.
Everyone's jumping in. The first few days, even the first week, and there have been studies about this over and over again, that's when you're getting the most people through your home, and it drops straight down after that. You want to capitalize on that as well. So, you're absolutely right. If the pictures are good, the marketing's good, you've got an agent who's really going all out to make sure they've staged your home and everything's cleared out, you're going to sell that house if it's priced right. You don't have to take it on a contingency because to sell another house. Because the fact of the matter is that, let's say someone comes to my house that I'm listing, and then their agent asks me if my seller will do that. Really, I don't know what that agent's going to price their house at. And if that buyer can't get the price they want, my seller is now out of luck.
A lot of moving parts on that.
A lot of moving parts.
All right, we take your calls here all morning long, 248-539-9797. There are sports coming up a little bit later today. Bad news out there. Michigan State basketball has been canceled. Harry was all dressed up for you.
I was going.
I would say he has his war paint on, but you can see he didn't put his face paint on.
I got my
yet.
socks on.
Oh, you got your green
Yeah,
and white
I'm going to be
socks?
like Aaron Rodgers. Look.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
have it.
yeah,
All
sock.
right, you good respect.
Dirty.
Yeah, thank you.
Take your calls again up till 10 o'clock here talking mortgages and real estate. Boy, was CoreLogic off in a good way. CoreLogic was off in a good way. They thought home appreciation, they projected it in 2020 to be somewhere around 8%. Well, they were off 10% because Lisa, home appreciation across the country, 18.1%. Are you kidding me? You're telling me if I bought a house in 2020 that it went up in value 18%? That's the average. Some of the buyers out there actually did even better than that.
They absolutely did. Some people did better. Some people not as well, depending on your area, depending on the condition of your home, depending on who's in the market. At the moment you go on, 2 weeks can make a big difference. It's kind of like the stock market. We don't set the prices. It's supply and demand, as Harry said.
Yeah, and it's going to be really a challenge, I think, in 2022. Again, we want to think that this inventory problem is behind us, but it's just not. Again, new construction is catching up. For a while there, lumber was through the roof. It dropped back down, and now lumber's shooting back up again during the winter months here, and a lot of new construction projects going on across Michigan here and across the United States. Harry, you can call us for the end loan. We'll hook you up again. Having someone in your back pocket, I've just closed a couple new constructions, and the client said, boy, Harvey, really, it was great to work with you because you were there every step of the way. Again, the builder's working on the house. You need some confidence along the way and really go over that process so that you can time when you're going to sell your house, if you have a new construction. And boy, it came all together. That's where the experience really pays off.
Well, it's an exciting time when people build a house. And listen, in this market, things are not going to go as fast as you want. Let's put it out there right now. I mean, that's just reality. But yeah, we're there every step of the way. You're calling us. And, like Lisa, sometimes we have to pay therapists, psychologists, a little counseling action going on. But it helps because you want to take care of people and you want to make sure they're set up for success, Harvey and Lisa, because in the end, their happiness is all you're working for the money too. Don't get me wrong, because this is Detroit and that's what we do. We work hard, but we want our people to be happy, and we earn our money every single day. Lisa and I, Harvey, we're talking in the hallway before the show. Our phone doesn't go off. Our phone is never off. Lisa told a story where she was in the middle of moving 2 years ago, moving trucks at her house. She's moving personally. She got a call from a client. She left the mover in the driveway so she could go and take care of the client.
That sounds normal for passionate
That's
people.
what we do. I mean, it's
That's
just
what we
and
do.
I like that. But every step of the way, look, and you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that from an internet agent or an internet mortgage lender. You're just not. They're not going to know the attorneys in the area like we talked about. They're not going to know the inspectors, the appraisers. They're just not. It just is what it is.
100%. And the other part of that is a lot of people, they get their license, they do it part-time, they do it on the side. Again, something comes up in a deal, they don't know the lenders, they don't know the lawyers, they don't understand who to call if they got to call the county or the city to find stuff out. You really want someone who understands that. And people who do these kinds of jobs like us, full-time, what we love out of it is helping people.
Yep.
Because a home is the most important thing in someone's life. And nothing is better than helping someone navigate through a situation. Because, you can end up, as a client, you can end up being a deer in the headlights. And you need your people.
29% of the new buyers out there are first-time home buyers. Boy, they need the education on it. And I just had a client I might have talked about at the end of the year. They literally clicked a button, and then I said, so let me guess, you found a house online, you clicked the button, and a stranger called you up. She goes, how do you know that, Harvey? I go, because your real estate agent completely has butchered the transaction. And now we've been spending about 3 weeks in fixing it, and we are, and we're going to make it work. So again, getting more professional people in your transaction can really help. We offer every type of mortgage, Harry, so it makes us constantly moving around because we offer the Mishta loans.
Yes.
For first-time homebuyers out there, if you want to get your hands on $7,500 or even $10,000 in some zip codes here across the state of Michigan, Michigan State Housing Development Authority will offer up $7,500 and $10,000 to get you into the house. And again, you don't have a payment on this. You just have to pay off the money when you refinance or sell the house in the future. That's a great program. Let me throw it out there. FHA, 3.5% down. For some families out there with some banged up credit, you can buy a house all the way past $420,000, Harry, with some banged up credit. And that music says we're up against a break, but let's not forget about conventional loans, jumbo loans. We've got them all. Keep it here on 97.1 The Tick. When we come back, all of your calls, 248-539-9797. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. Having lots of fun this morning. Again, real estate is fun. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll make it fun for you. We'll get you that strong approval letter, hook you up with all the great agents out there. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You've got to tune to the last 20 minutes or so here of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Brought to you by, again, Capital Mortgage Funding. And then after us, Pat Caputo with sports, Jim Costa in the afternoon. We got Red Wing hockey also late in the day, and then Pistons before that. So keep it here on 97.1 for all your Detroit sports. And again, if you need some real estate advice, be sure to call us here. We get you set up with Lisa Niederlander, one of my favorite agents who's really fun to work with. Lisa and I have just been becoming closer friends over the last year. We started as Facebook friends. Now we actually can socialize a little bit here. But having great people on your team, whether, again, we do so much real estate, and having those great situations, those great closings where you hug it out and everything goes according is more fun than having hiccups in a transaction. So get the professionals involved. And Lisa, and of course, you run across really very affluent people that are making some great moves. A lot of times they're selling their wonderful home that they raised their children in, and now they're moving into that next step, that next phase. So keeping real estate real exciting.
Yes, absolutely. So, I really like to help my clients with navigating all of this stuff. That's what makes it fun for me as well. And we have a lot of laughs along the way. But I want to help you guys really understand the market today and, give you some tips on how to get around things. And, we talked a bit about things you can do in multiple offers. There are many more things. If you have any questions, do feel free to call me. I think that people have my contact information from the show. And, another thing is that if you really want to avoid being in a multiple bid situation, when buyers walk into a home that's overpriced, they go, yeah, well, I would suggest to you to go into some of those homes that are overpriced. Check them out, because if they've been on the market a couple of months, they have very few showings at this point, and the sellers might be getting more realistic. And then you can probably get a house. I do that a lot with my buyers. I do the research. I go back. I look a little higher, and we try to negotiate it down. And at times, it really does work. So that's another thing. You've also got pocket listings. That's a big thing in Michigan. There are pros and cons to that. I like the other strategy better. But definitely you want someone who's in the business, who's calling agents, who might be getting property on the market and saying, hey, do you have anything coming up? We all have a ton of buyers right now who need stuff. There are positives and negatives to those for the seller and the buyer. But, sometimes you got to pay a premium to get that pocket listing. But it might be worth it. And what you're really doing, guys, is you're raising property values in the area in general. And that we need. So,
well, the pros are, Lisa, if you overpay, I hate to use that word, if you pay above what the house is listed for or a little bit over the market value, you're really investing in your future too, right? You're in the house. You're not waiting around. There's a time value of money too. So you pay a little bit more now. But then in the end, if you're going to stay in that house for a long period of time, like we talked about with some improvements, it's a quality of life issue. 100%. If you want to be in that neighborhood, you want to be in that school district, you want to be in that area because shopping's close, and it's very convenient to be there, and that's where you want to be. Well, how much are you going to pay? Right. How much you got to pay something, right? Yeah. And so you might as well you might as well go ahead, because if that's where you want to be with your family and you're going to stay there a long time, then I just don't have a problem with it.
All right, we got some lines. We got some calls coming in now, guys. Let's go to John out there. John, this is an interesting question. About to take occupancy on a new construction. What changed? John, you there?
I'm here, yep.
All right, go ahead with your question here, because it says you're about to jump into your new construction home and the loan change. What do you mean by that?
Right now it's interest only, and I have the opportunity to, I guess you always have an opportunity to refinance as it would switch to a regular 30-year term loan.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what's a competitive rate right now, if it's worth searching for something better. Right now it's 3.25%, and that's what it would convert at.
Well, let me ask this question. So your interest only that you're starting out with, what's the interest only rate right now?
3.25%.
Okay, 3.25%. And what can you get a fixed rate for right now?
That's my question.
Okay, so that's what you want to know, whether you should do the... Now, is it a reason? Why did you decide to go interest only in the first place? For qualification purposes, or what was the reason?
during construction.
Okay, so I mean, to me, and how long are you going to be in the house?
10 or 15 years.
Oh, you're going to be there. Look, you have a new construction loan that was interest only, and now
Yes.
it's coming to the end loan. It's
That
going to
you're gonna
convert to a
convert.
principal and interest loan. Look, the interest rates are very similar to what you have on the interest only loan. And if you're a 30-year candidate, yeah, I would just tell you to
I would
go
fix
ahead.
it.
Yeah, just go ahead and lock it in. And I think the lender would probably do that for you. Does your construction loan convert to an end loan?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you should be all set.
I would do
Especially if
that.
they convert it to 3 1/4. That's right, just about where the market is. Might even be
A
an
little
eighth
bit
or a quarter
less,
lower.
yeah.
Yeah, because rates bumped up a little bit. So I think you're in good shape.
Perfect. I appreciate the advice.
You
John,
got
thanks
it.
for
Good
the
luck
call.
and congratulations on your new house.
All right, that's exciting. New construction here anywhere across Southeast Michigan. You know what? It's really affordable here too, Lise. You know, we traveled different parts of the United States. Michigan is still one of the most affordable states. I mean, we got plenty of workers out there, plenty of jobs.
We sure do. And we are absolutely affordable, particularly if you go to around the big cities or the coast. Oh, my goodness. You know, we are very, very lucky here. So, you know, remember that, guys. We got a great market to be in.
They raised of course, our conforming loan limits to $647,200. So that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, you get a gorgeous house for anywhere in that ballpark. So you're talking about even if you're a $700,000 or $800,000 borrower with 20% down or 10%, you're a conforming loan. You could really take advantage of these great low interest rates. Lise, of course, home prices keep going up, but the rates are still historically low, making it so affordable.
100%. 100%. I mean, even, you know, 10 years ago or so, they were 6%. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, and we thought that was super low.
She sounds like us.
So-
Yeah.
Exactly.
They were
You're right.
They were over 4%, 4 1/4 before the pandemic hits in
Right.
2019.
Exactly. That's, you know, also fueling a lot of what's happening now. And
You got to
people
keep
are
it in
making
perspective.
money.
It's got to be. You got to have perspective. Okay,
Yes.
a rate in the threes is really strong. It's really good because historically, like, and I don't have to tell you, I don't think we're going to 18%. That's just not going to happen.
Correct. Okay.
But in 1966, a 15-year fixed rate was 4 1/4. Okay, a 15-year fix now is still under 3%.
Amazing.
So, I mean, keep in perspective, everybody.
Yeah.
Rates are still low.
Yep.
Okay, give us another helpful tip here. We're coming up to the end of the show. There's all these buyers out there. Is maybe the best helpful tip is to do it now, is like timing?
Yes, absolutely. If you're thinking about it, call an agent, get things going. You know, like I said, you want to speak to a lender, you want to have your credit checked out. Even if you know you have good credit, you never know. Sometimes my clients find little blips. You know, you want to make sure you've got everything lined up so that you're ready to go.
And Lee, sometimes people's credit isn't as bad as they think on the flip side. Either sometimes
That's
people, if they
right.
had an issue, they might think that their credit score is still low. But that's why you have to call somebody. You have to call us. We'll take a look at your credit
Yeah.
for you. Free of charge. We do not, and I repeat, not, unlike other lenders, we do not take deposit money, hostage deposit money as it's called. So we'll do it for free. We want to make sure that we're setting you up for success and give you the proper advice.
100%. There's a lot of goodwill in this industry. And, you know, between the lenders and the agents and all that, you know, we like to work together and help people out.
Yeah, there's no obligation to get started. Hey, self-employed clients, get it together right away. Again, did you just finish in October your 21 taxes? Or I'm sorry, yeah, your 20 taxes?
Your 20
Well,
taxes.
now you're going to have to start working on your 21 tax returns again. Self-employed borrowers, sit down with your CPA. These are tougher conversations. It's a whole subject, tougher conversations. So definitely. What do you want to say?
Looks like we have another interesting caller.
I'll go
coming
with
through.
it. Okay, fine. Let's go to Adam out there. Adam, good morning. Thanks for staying on the line. Go ahead.
Hey guys, great show. Everything's very informative.
Thank you, Adam.
Hey, quick question: how does Zillow affect the real estate agents, and how accurate are those numbers?
Go ahead, Lazy. Well, you love this
that's
question.
A great question. Hi, Adam. Thank you for asking that. That's one of my favorites to answer. So a lot of people like to refer to the Zestimate when they call me, and people really need to understand that in terms of that, they're taking in things that, you know, it's all computerized. They're not looking at condition. They're not looking at exact location. What are the other houses that are coming into play here? You know, some of our neighborhoods have a mixed housing stock. There are all sorts of issues. You really need a professional who's going to come in with their own eyes and tell you what's going on. Sometimes it might be higher. Sometimes it might be lower. We just don't know till we get in there. So, you know,
That's a perfect explanation. Everybody thinks that Zestimate is a high number. It could be low.
it could be.
It could be very low, and you could actually sell your house for more money.
100%.
Yeah. Don't always think that
100%.
it's high. I mean, it's just a number that is out there by a certain algorithm. You can't really, until you get into the house, until you get into that neighborhood, they're taking a sampling from all over. Okay,
That's
it's not
right.
specific to that
It is
particular
not.
neighborhood, even though that they list. I look on there too. I cheat and I look on there too, but it's more because it's for entertainment value for me.
That's right. I was just going to say the same thing. It's for entertainment. So how is it changing the market in general? Zillow, Realtor.com, great sites. There was a time where I would go through and I would bring the houses to my clients. A lot of times you guys are on your devices looking at houses, and you're calling me. Well, I'm out with another client. Something pops on. You're calling me with that.
Yeah.
And I'm taking you in to see it, and we're doing the deal.
fun.
So
Yeah, it's a start.
is
It's a
fun.
good starting point.
It is
a good
fun.
starting point.
A couple warnings, other warnings besides this estimate, is also what you were saying, Harvey, is that when you click on getting more information, a lot of buyers think they're getting the listing agent, and they are not getting the listing agent in 95% of the cases. They are getting an agent who paid for leads, and they could be anywhere in the state. And just beware of that when you start asking questions.
They don't have any expertise on the house. They thought they were getting the listing
They
agent who
thought
knows all
so.
about the house, and all of a sudden you're interested in a house that has the wrong high school, because there's different high schools that feed into every city.
That's right.
And Zillow and these, they don't know from that.
No, exactly. So then they would call me, for example, if
Yeah.
I'm the listing agent, and now they're representing you. And I even had a situation where someone did that and walked into a listing of mine that I happened to be walking out of, someone I knew. They didn't realize it was my listing. They thought it was that agent's
Because they advertised
listing.
on the site.
Yes. So you have to be careful. Same when you call real estate offices, if someone has a sign up for their company, they will give it to who's on floor duty, not necessarily the listing agent. So if you want the listing agent, ask for that person by name or say, I'd like to speak to the listing agent.
I told you the show was going to go really quick.
Great
This
show.
usually
What
says
a
that
great
that's it,
show.
and we want to keep going with it.
Yeah.
All right. For more information, check out Lisa Niederlander, Maxbrook Realty in Birmingham.
Yep.
644.
Well,
What
my
is-
cell phone,
Give it.
even better, is 248-917-2036, 248-917-2036. And my website is lisaniederlander.com. And you can get me either way. I'm very easily accessible.
All right,
Thank
you
you
can
very
always
much
call
for being
us
here.
at
Appreciate it.
1-800 Low Rate Capital
Thanks
Mortgage
for having
Funding.
me, you guys.
Thanks, Lisa. We'll definitely
was
hook you
great.
up. If you call us at Capital, we'll hook you up with Lisa and all the great agents out there. Keep it
Thank
here on
you.
97 on the Ticket. We see Pat Caputo coming up. We got sports here. We'll see you next Saturday.